Hey guys, the reason that Armory got canceled is for one reason. A lot of furries are getting their asses handed to them, meaning they're leaving. That's the reason I got rid of Armory for, guys. I thought I might get strikes again for having the stuff that's about furries, so Armin was technically a furry, but he never got made, so Armin was technically a furry and also known as a cartoon character. Last minute, I decided to scrap him. So yeah, no more Armin, guys. Back to H&M Mishko. That's all I really gotta say. I'm nuts. Well, Arm is gone, but I'm still keeping my pup hood. Okay, this thing cost me a lot of money. I'm not getting rid of the pup hood, guys. I spent good money on this damn thing. I'm keeping the pup hood. I'm not getting rid of my pup hood anytime soon. Keeping the pup hood. Just that Omeagle's now gone, so people mess around with people with this pup hood on. There's no use to doing that. I might wear the pup hood once in a while for fun, but I'm keeping the pup hood. The pup hood was too hard to come by, so I'm keeping my pup hood. That's the only thing I have close to being a furry is a pup hood. I know pup hoods are used for something else, but I don't care. So, yeah. I mean, there's a few things I like to do, guys, for you guys, but there's nothing I can think of right now I can do. Ooh, Venice. Venice, Italy today, okay. I wish I knew how many videos were on my channel, guys, but, you know, it won't happen anytime soon. Okay, let's see here. So, yeah, this time, guys, we're no longer doing, that. I feel better. I know I should make a lot more videos. I have 2 videos on this camera. Okay. That's not enough to upload anything. I might just go live for the hell of it, just for fun. So I think I'm not gonna work with the cameras today. I don't think I got enough videos to do anything with the cameras. None. That's surprising. No videos. That's surprising. No videos to actually upload. That's surprising. That's really surprising. No videos to upload. That's surprising. I know I got maybe half my books done already. I got book 7 now. I have to do book 8 and up, but that's for a future date. So yeah, nothing really to do, which is surprising. So who knows? I might do something tonight. Who knows? I might do something. Might read some books. I really don't know what I'm in the mood to do right now. So the thing is, though, guys, I really don't know what I'm doing anymore in my life. I guess she's doing every video where I just don't do nothing, and relax and just have, you know, the camera battery die like it usually does. But why I do that for? I have no clue. I like how I can touch the camera now and tell me how much time I got left. It doesn't have a long amount though for. I wish I could have the camera put the date and time on there for you guys so you know what time it is when I'm doing this stuff. So right now it's almost 1 o'clock. I don't know how to use computers that well. Shush. So that fixes itself. This is what we're gonna do today, guys. We're gonna book some more. We're gonna book some more.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro.
Sean, do you mean this one, the one with titanium? Switch to Verizon. You can trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them.
It's your last chance to trade in any iPhone for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.
Wait a minute, is this the biggest steak you've got? 72 ounces? I thought this was supposed to be a steakhouse, not a little girly, underpantsy, pink doily tea party place.
Well, there is one steak that's only available by special request. We call it sirloin-a-lot. It's the size of a boogie board.
Ooh, I'll have that one. And a drink? Meatballs.
Very good, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this brave man has accepted the Sirloin-a-lot challenge. He will pit his stomach against 16 pounds of indomitable tenderloin.
They like me because I'm brave.
Only 2 people have ever finished the whole thing.
If you want some friendly advice, pal, I wouldn't tackle the big one right away.
Oh, yeah? What do you know about it? It's you! You're him! You're Tony Randall!
Red Barkley's my name. I'm a trucker, and I've eaten steaks from coast to coast with taters and toast. Take my advice. This one's not for greenhorns.
Greenhorns? Who's a greenhorn? What's a greenhorn?
It's an insult. Suck him, Dad. Suck everybody.
Oh, you're just jealous because you don't have the belly for it anymore, Mr. No Belly. Mr. Hasn't got a belly.
Well, I have just finished a whole lamb, but I reckon I can take you to school. You're on, boy.
Is it safe to eat that much food, Dr. Hibbert?
You know, I wouldn't have thought so before I bought 12% of this restaurant, but now I feel a balanced diet can include the occasional eating contest.
But what if he chokes?
Not to worry. We have the latest Heimlich machine. On your left, the pride of the American trucking industry, reliable Red Barkley. And on your right, Homer somebody.
Go! Yeah! Go!
Gluttons to your marks. And guard.
No, Homer, don't fill up on bread!
Huh? Oh, right, the steak.
Come on, Dad. Pick up the pace. Chew and swallow. No savoring.
Must eat beef. Must the big guy I just met. So much steak. Lungs filling. Sinuses packed with meat.
Come on, Dad. Just 12 more pounds.
Oh, humans are so ridiculous. He's not even halfway through Walter, and he's already hallucinating.
Lousy drunks. I'll show them. What's happening to me? There's still food, but I don't want to eat it. I've become everything I've ever hated.
Winner and still champion, reliable Red Barkley.
Hands off to you, Red. You're a true American hero. And you did it with style and dignity. And, hey, you're not breathing. Don't people usually breathe?
This man is dead. Looks to me like beef poisoning. Probably from some other restaurant. That's the real. You'd better take one of these too. He's eating quite a lot.
There goes the finest trucker who ever lived.
He called me Greenhorn. I called him Tony Randall. It was a thing we had.
In 38 years, he never missed a shipment. But I guess this is one delivery old Red won't be making.
Oh, yes, he will. And on time, too.
Oh, no, Homer, no!
I've got you, honey. I owe it to old Red as both his friend and his killer.
Oh, let me go with you, Dad.
Don't you have to go up?
Don't you have work?
Ah, touche.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. This is help with the holidays. Right in your neighborhood. Walgreens.
I just got the perfect gift for my boyfriend that has everything that he needs for 25% off at manscaped.com. Shipping was free and they even sent me 2 free gifts, the upgraded Boxers 2.0 and the Shed 2.0 trap.
Hey, Anthony.
Hi.
You're just in time.
Right, for what?
Kelly.
Ellis. William Henry Harrison. Well, obviously, Harrison loved squirrel stew. Oh, don't be weird. People used to eat squirrel all the time, and they still do in certain parts of the world, like Alabama. And apparently Harrison's mom never had to force him to eat vegetables growing up, since he actually quite enjoyed fresh vegetables. John Tyler. Puddin'. Tyler loved him some pudding. Pretty much every kind. And sugar pie. In fact, he served sugar pie so much to guests that the treat eventually became known as, quote, Tyler's pudding pie. James Polk. Not to sound all corny, but James Polk loved cornbread, and if Cracker Barrel existed when he was alive, he would love pretty much everything on its menu. For dessert, he loved vinegar pie, which sounds nasty to me, but I'm sure it tastes just fine. Zachary Taylor. Taylor loved both Southern and Creole food. Specifically, he was a big fan of rice callas, which I've never had but look amazing. Like John Quincy Adams, he was also a big fruit guy. In particular, cherries, which he apparently ate lots of right before he died in office. Millard Fillmore. The more boring of a food it was, the more Fillmore was attracted to it. I'm Mr. Beats, and these are my pets. Go on now. Don't poop on that rug. But what about all of the American president's pets? Well, the White House has been home to some strange creatures over the years, and that's just the humans, am I right? But seriously, here's a rundown of all of the president's pets, and some of them will likely surprise you. So first we got George Washington, of course. We're going in order. And George Washington had, you know, the usual dogs and horses. He had American foxhounds, Sweet Lips, Scentwill, and Vulcan, among others. He had black and tan coonhounds named Taster, Tippler, and Tipsy, and one named Drunkard. He had a greyhound named Cornwallis, named for General Cornwallis, of course. Washington was a pretty big dog breeder, but these are just the dogs that lived with him in the executive mansion, so keep that in mind. His horses included Nelson and Blueskin, who he had during the American War of Independence, and also some stallions, Samson, Steady, Leonidas, Traveler, and Magnolia, and he had a donkey. It was a royal gift from King Charles III of Spain, and First Lady Martha Washington had a parrot named Snipe. John Adams had dogs and horses as well. His dogs were Juno, Mark, and yeah, Satan was the actual name of one of them, and his horses Cleopatra and Caesar. Thomas Jefferson, this is where it gets a little unusual. He did have a horse named Caractacus, named after a 1st century British chieftain, and he also had another horse named Young Fear Not. And he had some dogs, shepherd dogs from France, Bergère and Grizzle, but he had a mockingbird named Dick. That was his favorite one. He also had at least 3 other mockingbirds while he was president. And then he had, and I'm not joking, 2 grizzly bear cubs, a male and female pair that were given to him by Captain Zebulon Pike, the same guy who Pikes Peak is named after, but they were a little too dangerous, and so he gave them up to Charles Wilson Peale for his museum in Philadelphia. James Madison only had a parrot named Polly, not a very creative name, but Polly outlived both James and Dolly Madison, by the way. James Monroe had an unnamed spaniel and a Siberian husky named Sebastian. John Quincy Adams, this is where it starts to get more interesting. He had silkworms. Yeah, First Lady Louisa Adams actually spun their silk. And this is probably just a myth, but this is a widely circulated story that an alligator belonged to Marquis de Lafayette while he lived for a couple months in the East Room during the John Quincy Adams presidency. It probably really didn't happen, but you never know. Andrew Jackson had some roosters that would fight to the death. That's appropriate for Jackson. He also had many horses: Olivia, Emily, Lady Nashville, Sam Patch, and Truxton. Sam Patch was named after the famous daredevil known as the Yankee Leaper. And then he had a gray parrot who, as it turned out, had a filthy mouth. It knew a lot of cuss words. And later at Jackson's funeral, he was swearing so much and so loudly that the parrot had to be escorted out of the funeral. He was just cussing too much profanity. Martin Van Buren owned 2 tiger cubs given to him by the Sultan of Muscat in Oman before Congress forced him to get rid of the tigers, and so he donated them to the zoo. William Henry Harrison had a goat and a cow named Suki. John Tyler had an Italian greyhound named LeBeau, a horse named the General, and a canary named Johnny Tie. James K. Polk was one of 2 presidents who did not have a pet while living in the executive mansion. The other president who has never had a pet is the current president, Donald Trump. Zachary Taylor had a horse named Old Whitey. That was the horse that he rode during the Mexican-American War. And then he had a pony named Apollo, which was formerly a trick pony from a circus and given to Taylor's daughter Betty while Taylor lived at the White House. Apollo shared a stable with Old Whitey. Millard Fillmore had 2 ponies, Mason and Dixon, named after Charles Mason and Jeremiah Dixon of the Mason-Dixon line fame. Franklin Pierce kind of symbolizes the opening of trade with Japan. He had at least 2 miniature teacup Japanese chin dogs, part of a gift exchange with Japan, and also 2 birds from Japan. James Buchanan had an eagle, an eagle, and then a toy terrier named Punch, and a Newfoundland named Laura. Abraham Lincoln had a couple horses. One of them was named Old Bob. He had a rabbit. He had cats, Tabby and Dixie. The first 2 cats in the executive mansion. Lincoln once said that Dixie is, quote, smarter than my whole cabinet. He was kind of a cat lady, really, and he took in strays all the time. He also had dogs, Chip and Fido. Fido is now today kind of a generic name for a dog, but this is only because of Lincoln's famous dog, who was also, quote, assassinated by a drunk with a knife just a few months after Lincoln was assassinated. And then, of course, Lincoln had goats, Nanny and Nanko, and he had a turkey named Jack, which was supposed to be Christmas dinner, but Tad Lincoln intervened and said, no, let's keep it as a pet, and so they just kept it. Andrew Johnson never officially had pets, but he did feed white mice that he found in his bedroom while he was president. Ulysses Grant had a dog named Rosie, a Newfoundland named Faithful, 2 ponies named Billy Button and Reb, and, of course, horses. Butcher's Boy, Cincinnati, Egypt, and Jeff Davis were horses that he rode during the Civil War. He also had Jenny, Julia, Mary, and St. Louis. Rutherford Hayes had a Cocker Spaniel named Dot, a Newfoundland named Hector, an English Mastiff named Duke, a Greyhound named Grim, a miniature Schnauzer named Otis, hunting dogs named Juno and Shep, another dog named Jet, and then cats. He had a cat named Piccolomini. The first Siamese cat in the United States was Rutherford Hayes' cat Siam, and he also later had a Siamese cat named Miss Pussy. James A. Garfield had a horse named Kit and a dog named Vito. Chester Arthur had 3 horses, unnamed, and a rabbit, unnamed. Grover Cleveland had 3 wiener dogs, a Japanese poodle named Hector, this random dog, and mockingbirds. Cleveland also had a bunch of exotic fish. Benjamin Harrison had a collie named Dash, and he also had a goat named Whiskers, which he kept at the White House for his grandchildren. Here's a weird one. Harrison also had opossums. Yeah, named from the 1896 Republican Party platform. So they were called Mr. Reciprocity and Mr. Protection. And then this is probably true. He had 2 alligators, and they were kept by his son Russell Harrison in the White House Conservatory. William McKinley had a yellow-headed Mexican parrot that could whistle Yankee Doodle named Washington Post. He also had some roosters and Angora kittens named after the Spanish General Valeriano Weyler and Spanish Ambassador Enrique Dupuy de Lome. Now, Theodore Roosevelt had more pets than any other president in American history. It was pretty much a zoo when he was there at the White House. So we'll just go in alphabetical order here by their names. We had Admiral Dewey, Bishop Doyne, and Dr. Johnson, Father O'Grady, and Fighting Bob Evans, who were all guinea pigs. Algonquin, who was a calico pony. Roosevelt's son Archie liked to ride him around. Baron Spreckle, who was a hen. Bill the Lizard, who was a lizard, yes. Blackjack, a Manchester Terrier. Eli Yale, a macaw. Emily Spinach, who was a garter snake that was named by Roosevelt's daughter Alice because, quote, it was as green as a spinach and as thin as my Aunt Emily. A pony named Fidelity. Dogs named Jem and Susan. Terriers Jack and Peter. Jonathan Edwards, a small black bear from West Virginia. A rat named Jonathan. A badger named Josiah. A Pekingese named Manchu. A pig named Maud. A rabbit named Peter Rabbit, who even had a proper state funeral after he died. A bull terrier named Pete. A St. Bernard named Rollo. A mongrel named Skip. A Chesapeake Bay retriever named Sailor Boy. 2 cats named Tom Quartz in slippers, a laughing hyena named Bill. Yep, Roosevelt was the only one to have a hyena, a barn owl, and a one-legged rooster, because I guess the two-legged roosters weren't available. So yeah, Theodore Roosevelt loved animals. He also loved to hunt animals. William Howard Taft had a dog named Caruso and 2 cows named Mooly Wooly and Pauline Wayne. I'm telling you, the names for all these animals, that's the best part. Woodrow Wilson had a terrier named Davy, a ram named Old Ike, a cat named Puffins, a bull terrier named Bruce, and some songbirds, and apparently as many as 48 sheep. The flock, you know, they kept the lawn trimmed. Warren Harding's dog Laddie Boy was the first to get regular newspaper coverage. He also had a bulldog named Old Boy, and a canary named Petey, and a squirrel named Pete. Calvin Coolidge also loved pets similar to Theodore Roosevelt. So yeah, let's start with the dogs. There was Rob Roy and Prudence Prim, who were white collies, Peter Pan, a wire hair fox terrier, Paul Pry, an Airedale terrier, Calamity Jane, a Shetland sheepdog, Tiny Tim and Blackberry, Chow Chows, Ruby Roche, a collie, Boston Beans, a Boston bulldog, King Cole, a Belgian sheepdog, Palo Alto, an English setter, Bessie, a collie, Rebecca, a raccoon, who was also originally intended for a Thanksgiving feast, but First Lady Grace ended up saying, no, let's keep it as a pet. And she had a tree house built for it, and she even put it on a leash and walked it. And then later there was another raccoon at the White House named Reuben. He was a companion for Rebecca, you know. Ebenezer, a donkey, Nip and Tuck, canaries, Peter Piper and Snowflake, 2 more canaries, a yellowbird named Goldie, a songbird named Do Funny, a goose named Enoch, a bobcat named Smokey, lion cubs, and their names were Tax Reduction and Budget Bureau. That fits Calvin Coolidge very well. And then regular domesticated cats named Lackey and Tiger, a pygmy hippopotamus named Billy, an unnamed wallaby, an unnamed very small type of antelope called a diker, another black bear called Bruno. Yeah, Grace promptly sent him to the zoo. And then finally, 13 ducklings. Whew, that was a lot, Calvin Coolidge. When Herbert Hoover ran for president in 1928, his advisors thought it was a good idea for him to get photographed with King Tut. No, not the actual King Tut. Yeah, his Belgian shepherd named King Tut. Hoover's advisors thought the publicity stunt would help him get elected, and it probably did. Hoover took King Tut all the way to the White House. Hoover also had an opossum called Billy Possum, a roller canary called Caruso, a German shepherd named Pat, Marks, an English setter, fox terriers named Big Ben and Sonny, a Scotch collie named Glenn, a Canadian Eskimo dog named Yukonin, an Irish wolfhound named Patrick, a setter named Eaglehurst Gillette, and a Norwegian elk hound named Wiggy. Franklin D. Roosevelt had a German shepherd named Major, who was formerly a police dog, a Scottish terrier named Meggie, a setter named Winks, an old English sheepdog named Tiny, a Great Dane named President, a bull mastiff named Blaze, and finally, the most famous presidential
Wait a minute, Doc! Are you telling me that it's 8:25? Precisely! Damn! I'm late for school!